Dude, look at that huge RV shed.
What is that? I think it's a shop.
I'd store my toys in there. What are you doing with this?
That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, I'm Camille. I am the owner of Utah Dance and Fitness, and right now I'm going to show these guys a format called Dance Fitness, where you get to do a lot of exercise fitness moves but to music where you're dancing, but it's simple and easy to follow.
Getting lifted.
Just follow along.
Hi, I'm Eric Wist, Utah real estate agent.
Jason Christiansen, Utah mortgage lender.
I'm Tyler Kazarian, I'm a Utah Realtor, and we are here with special guest, the owner of Utah Dance and Fitness,
Camille Neilsen.
Yay!
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining us. Camille is actually a good friend of mine. We've known each other for years and years and years, and we wanted to come join you in this amazing studio that you have here, and just talk a little bit about your journey and how you got here. So can you tell me a little bit about why you wanted to move to Utah?
We were in Seattle, which was awesome, and we loved it, and we weren't actually looking to move back yet, but my husband got a job opportunity he was excited about, and so he's like, let's go.
Let's go. And we knew each other from before in Utah. Yes. You guys moved up to Seattle. We stayed in contact with you guys. And then I got this call one day, and you said, hey, I want to come check out houses. And we went on kind of a whirlwind tour.
Yes.
What were we looking for exactly as you were, because you were just down here. You didn't have, your husband wasn't down here.
Yeah, I came out just for 3 days, and my husband's current job is in Lehigh, so since Amazon, we lived so far away from downtown. It was an hour commute, and so when we came here, I'm like, I want to live as close, if not in the parking lot of his new work, because I didn't want to deal with the commute. We have 3 kind of high maintenance kids, and so that was my number one criteria, is we need to be as close as possible to his work.
Why'd you decide to use a realtor?
Well, we were far away, and so we wanted to have the advantage of having someone local in Utah to help us, since we would be moving from Washington and we wouldn't be able to stay here long to look for a home. So just having someone just kind of help us through that. Lehigh had changed a lot in 6 years, like all of Utah had changed a lot, and so we wanted someone who knew the groundwork. And we thought of Tyler because we trust him and we knew that he would have our best interests at heart, and we were excited for him. We're excited.
You're gonna make me blush.
We were excited. We were excited to work with a group. This was our first time actually, I think, working with a realtor. Before that, it had always been for sale, like we did it on our own. So it was our first time.
So Camille, while you guys were doing your whirlwind of tour of homes, what were some of the things that stuck out, or how did Tyler actually help you out as an agent?
So since we were here for just 3 days, he's like, just be specific as you can about what you're looking for. And then he sent us several lists of homes that were within that range of choices that were as close as possible to his work. Things like that were, the price, what was our range, specific things like how old or new the house was. We wanted something that was new and already built, because I did not want to build. And then as well as just things as simple as how many bedrooms are on what level, where is the master bedroom. And then also schools. We did want to know more about schools because we have a kiddo on the spectrum, and we just wanted to make sure he would be in the best place possible for our area. And Tyler took care of all that, and he had lots of answers, and he set up like a daily schedule of this house, and in a nice order so that we could get as much done as possible, because we didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of homes.
We did.
Yeah, we had to take a lunch break to go calm down and then have lunch and then go see more homes.
And Tyler was great, because I had my mom, my dad, and 3 sisters.
Yes.
All looking at the homes together at the same time.
It was
influence.
It was an entourage.
Yes, I think he handled it well, because I do think it's overwhelming for realtors when you have a ton of opinions coming at you and you're trying to answer a million questions and
only one of those opinions is actually purchasing the home.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit before. What were some frustrations you had along the way?
I think just feeling like I didn't have a lot of time and feeling like, okay, I need to see as many homes as I can because I'm not going to be able to come back out here again to look again besides online. And I really want to lay of the land, and making a choice is just going to be hard. So let's just get as much information as I can, and then we'll just like weed through everything.
So once you selected this home,
Yeah.
how did Tyler help out most?
Well, did you come back at all until you moved in?
No.
So you
No,
picked
we
this
Came
home.
out
Yeah.
for 3 days, looked at homes, and then the next time you were in Utah, you were moving into this home.
Yeah. It was like
That's pretty
really
amazing too.
And we did quite a few virtual things, like the inspection was virtual. We went through different points along the way. The final walkthrough was virtual. And we were stuck to our phones, really talking back and forth through the phone. But yeah, we went through it all virtually.
Tyler really like headed up a lot of that and just like made sure we were in the communication with it.
So this was a new home, built, never occupied before.
It was the model home.
It was a model
So
home.
they occupied it for a year just showing people.
So it wasn't standard purchase contract, it was a builder's contract. How'd you feel about that?
I mean, honestly, I didn't know much about it, so that's where a lot of trust comes in with
Because there's a big difference
who we're
between,
working with.
yeah, the 6-page Utah,
It's a Utah contract.
yeah,
Yes.
purchase contract.
Here's the builder contract.
But legitimately, how 20 to 40 pages
It was
unusual.
44 pages was the original draft, and
Wow.
we had addendum to that.
Yeah. So that's a big deal because if you're familiar with the REPSI, real estate purchase contract in Utah, you can kind of go through and this matters.
Yeah.
But a builder's contract is totally different. And they put in crazy things like per diems and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super important to have a builder. But there was talk about the fence.
Oh yeah, the fence.
I want to bring that up.
The fence was interesting.
What was going on?
So
Because this isn't a small lot either.
Oh, no.
It's a
Yeah.
half
it's
acre.
it's not a little fence. This
Yeah.
was a
It was-
half acre
It was a good
fence.
sized fence, and
On a
when
brand new property. Landscaping, no landscaping?
it had landscaping in the front, but it didn't.
But not in the
no,
back.
the backyard they had
Oh,
just
that's
had
right.
grass
They
because
had
it
it-
was the
it was
model home,
partial, yeah.
partially
Okay.
done.
So there was fence here.
There's a large rock wall for like basically the community of the neighborhood entrance, and then that was it. Was there a fence in the back?
I think there was a fence way
Just
in the
a
back.
chain link
It was
fence.
basically separating from a.
So we didn't have a fence with our neighbors or the front. And so one of the things that was hard about buying this house that made me nervous is we live on the corner of kind of a busy street. And just being on the corner, knowing we might be here for a long time, knowing the streets could change, and having little kids and having a kid who wanders off, it's scary, super scary. Like that was almost a deal breaker. But when we were looking for a lot of different homes that were new and built, they were often on the corner because we wanted something that was ready now. And so there was several on the corner.
Yeah.
So then we talked about possibly putting fence in, and what would that cost? And we hoped that we could put it in the contract for the safety of our children, really, because I was like, this has to be built before we even move in that day if we want to make sure our kid. And we live right behind a river.
Yes.
the Jordan River.
Yeah, so
The
it's
Jordan River
close.
Trail. And so it's a wonderful location, but dangerous. And my son, he has wandered down to the river a couple times, even with the fence. And
So
Yeah.
how'd you solve that problem?
Well, so we talked to the builder and
Yes.
we said, hey, this is something we really need to do. And they were kind of dug in. They didn't want to help us put in a fence.
why would they want to do that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But we talked to them about your family situation, and it ultimately, they looked into the family situation and said, you know what, this is actually something that we want to help with. And not only did they put in the fence, we had some corrections there, but
And we weren't here for that. Tyler took care of that all by himself.
yeah, they put in the fence. We had to move it actually a couple feet because they weren't on the property line. We had to move it to the right place, and then we got through it. But we did. We got through it okay.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit of a challenge.
It was probably a lot of extra work for basically the safety of our family. So we're really grateful. I was really grateful to not have to worry about that.
So I have another question then. Going from a fence kind of slightly disaster to getting that remedied and taken care of, you have this beautiful home, you have this beautiful dance studio. This wasn't a dance studio when you moved in.
No.
And I would have never thought it would have been a dance studio. How did that come to play from when you guys were looking at the house and your entourage looking at the house to moving in to this is a dance studio?
So when we drove up, I think this is one of the first homes we saw, so we were definitely like, oh, we're at the beginning. But when we drove up, we were like, whoa, like there's a big blue shed, and then the house. It looked,
Shed is an understatement. Let's just keep that out of the way.
I totally
big
call it,
shed.
I call it the shed, totally. But we were just like, okay, so we looked at the whole house, and that was like our main concern. And then I think you were like, let's go look at the shed or the garage, and we were like, oh yeah, there's a shed out there. And so we walked through the door, and it was huge. Like I honestly still am like, whoa, it's super tall. It was just barn walls on the inside, so it was a cement floor, and then the walls were like plywood barn like.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Huge
bare.
and empty and bare, and it was almost like, whoa, what would we do with this? Like, it's so big. And so at that point, we thought, oh, this would be great for if we ever wanted a boat, or, Eric loves sporty vehicle things. And then, I don't know. And as well as, I bet people out here, this is farmland, people can have horses here and animals and chickens. So I'm like, oh, I bet this could also be somewhere if we ever wanted animals, if we ever wanted a horse, you never know. And I'm like, oh, that would be really cool. And then, there's a garage door on this side, there's a garage door on that side, so people can drive through with heavy machinery, with farming equipment, So we were just like, oh. And then my sister turned to me and she was like, you have to do a dance studio. And it blew my mind. I never would have thought that. Like,
That's how it came.
and I even
there
looked
you
at
go.
her and I was like, no. And she's like, you have to. And at that moment, I think deep down, I was like, hey, this is it. This is the house. But I was still like, oh, that's really intimidating. And this is so much space. Like, do we need this much space? But there's like the possibilities were endless with it. And so, yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. And that's one of the things that I think we come to do more often is we say, well, it's an RV storage. That's what it has to be.
Yeah.
This has to be this, or it has to be a boat storage, because those are the most common things for a 50 by 20 by 20 shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, especially here in Utah right here. And then when you started to branch out to, okay, well, maybe some farm stuff, that mentality of thinking outside the box of what it could be, and then dreaming a little bit more and going, well, what about a dance studio?
Well, now you
Definitely a
have
dream.
some Schedule C income, I would suppose. Stuff coming on, tax, mortgage speaking.
Yeah.
You
Right.
have some self-employment income.
Yes.
To supplement whatever.
Yes, we have supplemental income. It's really exciting. It's gone so much better than I even thought it would. I mean, it was a huge risk. Just even buying a house, I don't know, at this level of buying a home, I guess, and then knowing we're taking a risk there almost, and then adding this on top of that. I mean, it was an investment. I mean, we spent a lot of money to upgrade this from basically a barn to a studio, but it's been awesome. I would highly recommend it to anyone. There's so many people that have come to the studio and been like, oh, this is my dream. Like, they would want to turn to a basketball. Like, I have a friend who teaches basketball to kids. I have other friends, dance studio, yoga, fitness. Like, they're like, I would love to have a side business and turn space into this.
All right, Camille, so we've talked about a lot of stuff here. You recently bought a house, obviously. What advice would you give to people who are contemplating buying a house right now?
I think for us, definitely working with a realtor was super helpful because we were far away and our lives are extremely busy. We have 3 kids. My husband has a really busy job. I was working as well. And it was all kind of a big decision and not a lot of time. And so I think having someone on your side in the location you're looking for was so helpful. I would definitely recommend that.
Nice.
Okay, guys, so what did you guys learn today?
I learned about thinking outside the box, turning something that was intended to be an RV storage into a dance studio.
I learned that it's really handy to have an industry professional fight the battles for you because they know what can be done and what's possible. Like, you got a fence when there wasn't even the option before.
Yeah. And I learned that it is really important to have really good communication, whether you are there right next to the person right at the house or whether you're 2 states away trying to figure out how you're going to get here.
Right. I learned that there's so many different ways you can use a home to your advantage besides having a wonderful living space. Like, we turn this into a dance studio and it's a great supplemental income. Some people will try to have a mother-in-law apartment or something else, but there's just so many things you can do with a home that you might not even think of, and it's really helpful to have that outside support for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Camille. It's been a pleasure
you.
hanging out with you and talking about all this stuff.
Hey guys, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, tag a friend, remember to go follow the Utah Real Estate Show, and if you're interested, come check out Utah Dance and Fitness as well. Thanks.
We're glad. Actually, hold on. We gotta cut the furnace.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. Is that good for Tyler?
Thank you.
All right. Okay, boys. What did you guys learn today?
I learned. I thought we were starting over here.
You guys are awesome. I'm like, seriously.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember that I'm like still teaching and not just like laughing and having fun. Right? Okay, I'm Camille. I am the owner of Utah Dance and Fitness, and right now I'm going to show these guys a format called Dance Fitness, where you get to do a lot of exercise fitness moves, but to music where you're dancing, but it's simple and easy to follow. They've never ever done it before, so the first time's usually a little bit more of a struggle, but it's most important to have fun. And you guys are going to have fun, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and they're dressed for the occasion. They look great, and so we're gonna dance. You guys ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go.
Getting lifted.
Just follow along. Right leg.
어디 가 Mr. Firm on the floor. 지금의 열기를 식혀줄게요. 그만이 가득 적어도 화끈하게 주사위 소리에 느끼는
Arms up.
말씀처럼 고난 Hey 미치겠나 보내기는 너 흔들리는 내 달고진 백시 태운 뒤
Arms up. Step.
Hands up if you're feeling the vibe now.
Step straight here. Shake hands. Ready? Arms up, go. Hut, low. Good.
열기 마주하기처럼 뜨거워 이거 가는 고발하기 10초 전 Hands up if you're feeling the vibe now. One step, two steps. 외쳐봐 소방차 어디든 달려가지. Maximum turn it up. 리듬에 맞춰 흔들어. 춤을 느끼는 순간 크게 소리쳐. Fire truck.